Today I want to talk about linters in Rust. So a linter is a tool to help improve your source code. Basically enforces idiomatic ways of coding and can prevent bugs and errors by checking your coding style and checking common pitfalls. The main linting tool in Rust is called Clippy. Before we look at Clippy, we should look at Cargo. Cargo is the package manager for Rust, which is similar to Yarn in JavaScript. Cargo is a great tool. It can do a lot of things, and something else that it can do, other than run Clippy, is a cargo check, which will basically do a simple lint and check of our code. Underneath, it runs the Rust C compiler. This will basically check our code, but it won't complete the entire process of building the code. We'd have to run cargo build or cargo run to do that. And this is handy because we can quickly check our code without doing a tedious build process. This will lint some things and spot some errors, but if we want to go into depth, then we should look at using Clippy. Clippy is great. It will go in far more depth than cargo check. It will check that our code is idiomatic. It will check for some potential bugs, memory leaks, and some terrible coding practices. It has different levels of linting, and you can turn these on and off as you wish. And let's have a look at that now. So here we have a main function, and that'll be our entry point to our code. And here we have a variable called food that gets passed to this isValid function. Takes it as an input, as an integer input, and checks it against this number 42. If it equals 42, it checks if it's true. If it equals 42, it will return either true or false. This is then returned and stored in this meaning variable, and it will then print out you found the meaning of life, and including the Boolean meaning. Just change this to a print line statement and run a cargo check. So as we talked about, cargo check will do some basic checks for us. And we can see we have an unused import here on line 1 of the main.rs file. It says use core alloc. And there's a warn unused imports here. So let's remove this. We could allow it, but we don't want this unused code. So let's just get rid of it and cargo check again. And as you can see, it ran with no problem. And now we're going to do cargo run and see our code actually run. You found the meaning of life is true. And we can change this to a 12. It should no longer equal 42, and we get false. So our code is working as expected. However, there's more. We can run cargo Clippy and do an in-depth lint of our code. And here you can see a few warnings. So the first one is use of disallowed placeholder name foo. And this is on line 3, and we do have a variable here called foo. So let's have a look and visit the website to see what is this all about. It says here you're able to visit the site to learn more. This website is very useful. It's the Clippy lints. Tells us what it does and why this is bad. So it says placeholder names should be avoided. Gives an example and tells us a bit about the configuration. This is a style warning, and there's different lint levels with Clippy lints, and there's different lint groups. So there's levels of warnings, allows, denies, and so on. And there's different groups. And you can go through these as you wish and look at different ones and see which ones you want to allow and which ones you actually want to check. So in this case, in my case, it's not such a big deal that we have a placeholder name. I mean, this is test code anyways, so let's just allow this. And you do this by adding a hash and then in the brackets allow. And then we place our Clippy disallowed names. So the name of the lint that we want to allow. And we put this just above the code that it's warning us about. We can also put it above the function. If If we run cargo Clippy again, we can see that this warning is now gone. So the allow has worked, and we just have this other warning left. The this if then else expression returns a bool literal. So this is a bit of an idiomatic thing. We have kind of a needless code or verbose code, and we can really reduce this down a lot. And it can become a one-liner, a very short one-liner, 42 equals input. So that equals is a compare in Rust. And we can once again go to the Clippy lints page and have a look at what this is, and have a look at more explanation. And we can see that it says that it's redundant code and that there is some known problems that we can get false positives in this case. And so we avoid those potential pitfalls and issues by just reducing this down. So now if we run cargo Clippy again, we can see all our Clippy lints are fixed, but our code is much neater than it was before. We've reduced a few lines, and we understand a bit better what's happening and a little bit more about our coding practices like this foo and how if else can work and the pitfalls you can have. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I highly recommend using Clippy if you're new to Rust. It will help you write more idiomatic code. Yeah, thanks for watching.